Hi everyone, my name's Dama Tamanawala. I'm a commercial real estate advisor with Colliers International. I work on the investment team. And every month I meet with about 20 or so new property owners, a lot of which are in downtown Toronto. And I often get asked the same question, which is, how much is my real estate worth if I smash down the building and sell it as residential development land? And they can build a huge condo on top of it. So we're gonna take a look at 3 tools that you can use to assess that yourself, whether you're at your home or your office. They're all public tools, okay? So to assess this, we're gonna look at 3 things: the zoning, the FSI or the floor space index for the neighboring development sites, and the dollar per square foot buildable rates in the area. And we're gonna try and do all this in under 5 minutes. First things first, pull up the official plan. Are you located in downtown Toronto or the central waterfront area? Is your site on a major avenue? Okay, a lot of people hear Queen Street or Gerrard and think that automatically they can develop a mid-rise building on their property, a 6 to 9 story building with retail at grade. And that's not always the case. We see here in between Gerrard and Jones and Gerrard and Greenwood that's a neighborhood area and you can't develop anything there. So you want to check that first, okay? Number 2, if you're doing this at home, I want you to Google search Toronto Interactive Zoning Map. Okay? When you get to this page, you're gonna see a very colorful, nice map, but you want to ensure, if you wanna develop on your site, you wanna ensure that it's red or brown, okay? That's a mixed use area or a regeneration area. Both of those are great, and the city loves promoting development in these designated areas. If it's purple, it means it's employment. Employment, you can probably develop on it a lot of the time, but you're not going to get the same valuation as a residential development. If it's yellow, it means it's neighborhood designated, and you can't develop anything on there. It might as well just be a 2-story house, okay? Once you check those 2 boxes, we can talk about something new, which is the TO Core Downtown Plan, okay? So on July 27th in 2018, so just a couple months ago, the city released and approved a new downtown plan for all of the mixed-use areas, okay? And this is going to be the governing doctrine moving forward. So you definitely want to take a look at this and see what area you fall into. So they classify downtown mixed-use areas into 4 categories. Local, which if you see the lower half of Berkeley, it essentially looks like you can't develop on it. That's neighborhood designation, means you can't do anything. Main Street, which is a mid-rise building. We think about Queen Street East, 6 to 9 story condos, retail at grade. Then they have Growth, which is Yonge and Bloor, 50 plus towers of office or residential or mixed use. And then you have Intermediate, which is in between Main and Growth. They don't clearly define what that would be, but yeah, I like to assume that it's 12 to 15 stories or so, okay? For this example, we're gonna be assessing a site at Richmond and Parliament, okay? It's not a real development site, but we're just gonna say, imagine that we have 15,000 square feet there, and what would that be valued at, okay? So we've checked all the boxes here. It looks like that site is a intermediate site. So we can get 12 to 15 plus stories there, depending on a few other factors. Once you've checked those 3 boxes, you want to go into looking at the FSI. What's that? That's the floor space index, okay? Floor space index is the total GFA of a site divided by its total land area. So if you can build 100,000 square feet of residential on 10,000 square feet of land, it means that your FSI, your floor space index, is 10. Okay, simple enough. So what we're gonna do is take a look at the neighboring development sites that are approved. And that's really important because if it's not approved, it's not really relevant, as you can kind of submit everything. Anyone can submit anything to the city really, but not everything gets passed. So we wanna look at precedent, right? So to do this, Google search Toronto development applications, and you can find every development application in the city of Toronto right now, okay? Again, we're looking for sites that are approved, and we see this one is not yet approved, not yet approved. Okay, approved. Okay, great. So it's important to remember that For the best example, you want to use an approved site that is similar to yours in land size, okay? We're going to use this one, open it up. I think it's a First Golf site. You're going to want to look into the project data sheet. Now that has a ton of important information on their development site, including the floor space area or floor space index. And we see here they have, First Golf got 9.15 approved, okay? Click into another site, do the same exercise, looking for the project data sheet, 9.33, okay? I think this is a WHAM site. Two pretty sophisticated developers. If they're getting 9, we can assume that all sophisticated developers can get around there. Okay, so now we can assume that our floor space index of our development site is 9, around. And if we're using a land size of 15,000 square feet, it means that we can get 15,000 times 9, or what is that? 135,000 square feet, is that right? 135,000 square feet of density on our site. So that brings us to our last thing. If we can get 135,000 square feet, what is the dollar value of each of those square feet? Okay, so to do this, Google search MCAP land values. They're a pretty trusted lender in Canada, and they submit this great report. Okay, so for our example, we're in the Toronto East. I'm not sure where your site is, but we're gonna use here 150 for our dollar per square foot buildable rate, okay? Once we're there, let's just do the simple calculation. So we have 15,000 square feet times 9 as an FSI, so 135,000 square feet times 150, and we get approximately $20 million, okay? So if you have 15,000 square feet at the corner of Parliament and Richmond, you have a $20 million site. So there you have it, a rough way to get to your land value assessment in the city of Toronto. If you want to be more specific about it, you need to consider the difference between approved and unapproved land, especially since the OMB has been dissolved. That can often impact the dollar per square foot buildable rates. We want to consider the property's positioning. Is it a corner? How much land is there really? Do any of the shadows impact some of the neighboring sites, for instance, a school? And if you're really digging into it, you're going to want to do a full pro forma, taking into account all of the costs, all of the future income streams, for instance, the condo sales, and what are they selling for in the area, the developer's margin, and then back out the land value as a residual. But not everybody has time to do this, so hopefully this suffices. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. And if you want to see any more videos like this, let me know. Happy to help. Thanks.